Hello, 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 and welcome back to the GTD Podcast. I am the Norex. I speak for the podcast. Bada boop, bada beep, bada boo. Don't know what that was. Yes, I have a new setup. Isn't that interesting?
Epic.
You can see I have my screen's really bright, so I have issues with that currently. But hey, you can see that now, I guess, which is cool. Yes. Sorry, I don't know where I've gone. This is a terrible startup. I'm here with Matthew and Max. Devin might be appearing later, but go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Max. I have no face, but
Yes.
hey, it's fine.
Yes, he has no face, is only pain.
And I am Matthew.
He has no face and he must scream. And yeah. Man, you're real cool. Why is the air so awkward today? Don't know what's going on.
I'm just tired, man.
Yes, welcome to the GT Podcast, everyone. I've said that twice now, but that's fine. Yes, Devin might be appearing later. We'll see what happens. There's several things coming up in the show. We'll be discussing what we've been talking about this week, as well as looking at some trailers. We have some good-looking ones. We have some good-looking ones today. We'll also be discussing host topics and news, which is always good. And then we'll just hop on to shameless self-promotion at the end of the show. But yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't need to explain. Like, it's... You know how the format works. It's a terrible start to the episode. You can see my new setup, though. It's great. I'm on this computer now instead of the laptop that I was using. Hey,
nice.
Everything's... Yeah. All right, then. We'll just jump right into things. Matthew, what have you been playing this week?
Do you want to give a guess?
Just tell me it's Minecraft and move on.
Yes, it's Minecraft, and I'm building a spire on a server that I think I'm going to try live streaming on. I don't know if I will die constantly and lose all my stuff through doing that, but we'll see how laggy it is.
All right.
Cool.
I'm also building my base, but that's being put on hold while I'm building the spire. It's very big, and I made a little watchtower to look at it from above, from height limit. It goes like several hundred blocks, not several hundred. It goes about 150 blocks in the sky, roughly. No, more maybe. I don't know. And I want to show this person who's the host.
Right. You want to show me?
Yeah, sometime, like on Monday, maybe.
Oh, well, I mean, I guess, I don't know. I could do that.
And I'm gonna edit a very small video tomorrow.
Oh.
Yeah. Very small. I'm not gonna say anything about it because the title literally gives away the whole video.
All right, then.
Not a very subtle title though. So
all right, then. And that's it for you.
yes.
God. All right, then. Max, in that case, Max, what have you been playing this week?
I got the BioShock collection on Switch recently, so I've been playing the first BioShock game. It's a bit clunky. It's a bit rough in some areas.
It is actually a very old game at this point. It's like what?
It's like
over
13 years, maybe.
Something like that.
Yeah, it was made in the time when Xbox like PS3 games were like overly edgy and FPS was still trying to find its good control scheme on consoles. So the controls are very clunky. The pacing of the game is very odd because there are times when it's trying to focus on the story, but because it's not very cinematic, oftentimes there'd be story going on, but then there's a whole bunch of gameplay elements. Like you'd be in the middle of a fight, so you can't even listen to anything anyone's saying, and the enemy AI is kind of weird. But overall, so far, it's a product of its time. For the time it came out, it's decent, but compared to a lot of games made nowadays, it's very dated.
Yeah,
very
that's
clunky.
I personally, I have not played too much of BioShock. I was was in the process of doing it, but then it's not that I fell out of interest in the game. It's just other stuff happened at the time that I had to stop playing it. And well, I didn't have to stop playing it. It's just other stuff happened at the time. And also, my setup for playing games has always been a little iffy at best. So I've never been in the best position to just sit down and play it. But I know for a fact that your opinion on this game is very much on a minority.
Yeah, I get that. I'm not big on FPS games, so it's not really in my comfort zone, and also it's very different as well. It's very unique because it's blending elements that you normally see in an RPG into an action game, but it's also kind of bordering on trying to be a horror game, but not really succeeding in that front, in my opinion. And I don't know how much of the controls are a product of the remaster or if it's always been like that, because there's a lot of weird things with like when you first start the game, the initial settings have it set there's a very large FOV, and on Switch it's not the best thing because the Switch can only go up to 1080p, but when you're playing handheld, it's very hard to see anything, so I had to change the settings all around and stuff like that constantly. So yeah, I don't know how much of that was a product of the remaster, if it's just always been that way too. So
well, like I said, it's been a while since I've played any of it, and I haven't played that much of it, so I don't quite remember it too well. I remember it controlling, I mean, here's the shooters will always be a little bad clunky on console because you're trying to aim first person controls with a controller, which is always a little
yeah, but the thing is they have it set that to aim down the sights you have to push the right stick down.
I don't remember if that was the case or not. I don't even remember if aiming down sights was a thing.
It hardly is. But yeah, it's fine so far. I'm hoping that the other two games improve upon it.
I mean, well, I wouldn't know in this particular case. I do know that Infinite was very highly regarded, but it's kind of going through a resurgence period recently, as people are sort of like, wait, maybe that wasn't as good as we thought.
I played a little bit of Infinite a few years ago, and I remember really enjoying it, but I never got too far into it because I didn't know what was going on. But yeah, no, from what I remember, Infinite, it definitely was a lot better than the first BioShock, in my opinion. Well, like I said, that was years ago.
I guess you'll find out once you play it.
Yeah.
But is that what else? Anything else?
I mean, other than that, just Minecraft, and that's too much of an addiction to talk about.
Right. Too much of an addiction.
Good.
As in, if we talked about it any more than we already do, it would just become a Minecraft podcast.
Yeah, and I don't want that.
What? We're trying to keep it gaming generally, not Minecraft specifically.
I mean,
you seem to ramble about anime a lot, though.
Wait, we haven't
not on this podcast.
No, we haven't rambled about anime since the first episode.
I just mentioned Studio Trigger last week, and that was it.
was
I mean, that's
joking.
because Smelter does genuinely have that kind of
Yeah,
style.
yeah,
to it, though.
it
Like
does.
it's very
I
obvious
was
that
still
it's trying to be
joking.
bad.
We stay on topic.
Yeah, we did.
Yes, I'm not saying we do. I was just joking. Okay.
Stop
Alright.
joking.
Why?
I don't know.
All right, let's bring it back on topic, guys.
No jokes. This
Oh.
is no jokes in this podcast. I don't know what you're talking about. This podcast shall be boring and informational.
Yes.
No
I
fun.
feel like podcasts should have jokes.
No fun allowed on my podcast. That's why I joke, and that's why I joke all the time. Anyway, yeah, that's it for you.
Yeah,
Max?
that's it.
All right, moving on then to what I've been playing this week, and haven't been playing much. Actually, I have over the week. I've kind of been in this weird state of mind that I haven't. Also, I just moved a bunch of stuff, as I explained last week, so I don't have the ability to play my PS3 or Switch at the moment. Because playing them on a tube TV, I've lived through that. I don't need to do it again. So I only have access to my Wii and PS2 at the moment. In terms of TV, so I haven't been playing much. I know I said last week that I planned on playing Persona 4, but I haven't really gotten around to it, and I've just kind of been in this weird slump, and I just decided. So just to say, what I've been playing this week, just to get around to it, is that I've been playing Spyro Year of the Dragon. Actually, my old PS1 copy, I just loaded up and started playing Spyro on the Spyro 3 Year of the Dragon bunch, because it's also we have our third host has appeared, but we'll get to him in a second. But yeah, I've just been playing.
He's not allowed to be gone.
I've been playing Spyro 3, and it's weird going through that game again. It's really weird because it's been a while since I've played that game. Also, there's a second guest because he's not at his own house. Like I said, we'll get to him in a second. But it's going through the game again. It's weird how much I've actually forgotten about the game. Like there were several occasions where I didn't find everything on my first run through a level, which is like I like not pride myself per se, but like I've played that game enough to basically know it inside and out, like completely. So the fact that there were times when I just like missed gems or something I forgot about completely, I guess just goes to show how much I've forgotten about during since last time I played it. But also the reason I just talked about my mind state before the week is just I needed a comfort game. I needed some comfort gaming. So I loaded up Spyro to do so.
Yeah, every now and then you just need like a little nostalgia trip, just a little bit of comfort. Like that's me with Lego games basically. Every once in a while I just need to not do anything and just play a Lego game and just relax.
Yeah, just I'm looking over my TV.
Have a nice reset.
But what was it gonna... Yeah, because so that's what I've been playing this week. Spyro. I don't think I've played anything else. I had sort of plans to play the Monster Hunter Rise demo, so I could tell people about it, but didn't get around to that. I've just been playing Spyro and having a fun time.
Nice.
The other thing, is that all I've been playing this week? Yeah, I think Spyro is the only thing I've been playing this week. My PS2 has an overheating problem. So if I play my PS2 too long, especially on older games, it'll start to overheat and crash the console. So like it'll start causing audio glitches as well if it gets too hot.
Oh boy.
So yeah, that's a problem. I should probably get a new PS2 at some point because my old one is slowly dying.
Yeah. Well, good luck finding one.
You can get one for a decent amount somewhere.
Well, yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I guess it kind of depends. Due to COVID, everything physically has just slowed to a halt.
Mm-hmm.
So, it'll probably be after COVID when I can finally find good prices on certain things again.
Right.
Yeah, there was something I want to discuss regarding Spyro. I think I'm playing Spyro. Was there something I wanted to discuss about it? Aside from the fact that I just kind of forgot things about it. Oh, that's the other thing. It's weird because that's the thing. I forgot things about it, but I also found things I remember being really hard, really easy for some reason. It was weird jumping back into it and then just doing things I remember being somewhat hard in like a breeze. And I'm not sure why that is. It could just be that I have like gotten better at video games since the last time I played it, but it's very strange.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, that's all I've been playing this week, and I've probably rambled too much. Anyways,
You're good.
Get to Devin, who we need to introduce him properly since he's our third. Many things are going on with Devin. What's going on? Yeah, he has a dog. He's dog sitting. He has 2 other people in the house as well. Devin, can you unmute?
Yep.
There you go. You're unmuted. So yes, welcome to the podcast. You're Devin. Explain who you are to the people so we can get your introduction out of the way.
I am Devin, aka DevMafu.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Minecraft and not a lot of other games, although I that's mostly just because I find Minecraft so interesting.
Also, you don't have the ability to play other games.
Also, I don't.
The only time you can play other games is by coming over here because I have all of the equipment.
Hey, it's there's no reason for me to buy my own game system when all my friends have one.
I mean, I guess,
mindset.
but I guess that's a fair way of looking at it.
I can waste my money on other things instead,
like magic cards and
like
Minecraft.
I don't spend money on Minecraft anymore.
I see. All right then. In that case, we were just getting over what we've been playing this week, so we'll just jump to you as the last person.
I have a really cool story. I was playing a game of Minecraft, and I jumped into it. It was a game of Bed Wars on a special mode where when you place blocks, a whole bunch of blocks place, so you could conceivably actually fill in the entire world without like too much difficulty. Because normally the time would run out because you only have like 30 minutes to play the game. And someone typed in chat, "fill the void," in all caps. And a group of people in that game, instead of trying to win the game, they just tried to fill in the void, and they failed because the game was really fast.
Yeah.
And in the next game, I typed in "fill the void," and an entire team of players started filling in the void. And I took out the other 2 teams, and then my team and their team just sort of filled the void and completely ignored each other and walked past each other. And it was the strangest game of Bed Wars I ever played. and they asked if I had Discord, and I was trying to figure out how to get into Discord and how Discord works because I don't know how to do that. And one of them invited me to a group chat, and we were talking. And it turns out all 3 of them are in Brazil, and they're friends. And they had a similar experience where it's like they jumped into a game and then people started filling the void, and then just no one was attacking each other. It was just really cool and weird. And they were excited to know that I was real.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's an interesting experience.
Now.
You have 3 Brazilian friends.
Yep.
Good for you.
Brazil is about the size of America, so it's kind of like, yeah, it's
I thought it was like the next number after Brazilian.
Brazil.
It's Brazilian.
I mean, definitely. We also know another person from Brazil, but you know.
We do. We're kind of half brother, half cousin. Half brother. He's a half brother.
Half cousin.
Half brother, yes.
Uncle. He's my uncle. Nadine's like
no,
an
that's
so
not...
he's my uncle.
She's literally your cousin.
Aunt, cousin, whatever. Same thing.
Yeah, what's the difference?
All of
between
the
aunts and
words.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, so that's what we've been playing this week. Minecraft.
That
You
is.
had that
I
weird
played a little bit of Skyrim today.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How'd you play that?
Poorly. I couldn't figure out how to use the controls, but there was a mod, and in that mod is a glitch where if you put an item in a chest, it 10 times its damage, and then there's a glitch that makes it so that it deals 10,000 damage. So I could one-shot anything.
Sounds like my Skyrim.
Yeah.
That sounds like generic Skyrim to me.
Really?
Skyrim is very buggy.
Oh.
Even after it's 11, probably almost 12 years of existing.
That's why it's buggy, is because it's so old.
Well, they even remastered it, but the remaster doesn't seem to do much.
Oh.
Yeah, it's good
Good.
old
Guys are
Bethesda.
fucking my game.
I love Skyrim.
Good old
It's a classic
Bethesda.
game. It still holds up after 12 years or whatever. Like it's classic. It's classic.
Good old Bethesda, and I don't know, man. I've talked about Bethesda too much. I don't need to go into detail of why Bethesda are massive idiots. Anyways, yeah. So that's you
That's
played
what I've been playing this week, basically.
Skyrim and what have you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Matthew said he played Minecraft. I bet you couldn't believe that.
No, I wouldn't have believed that.
It's crazy, I know. Yeah. Yeah, that's all we've been playing this week. Playing this week is always just a fast segment. So, because nobody goes into massive detail about what they're doing. But that's fine. All right, in that case, let's just jump into our next segment, which is trailers. And we've got, we've got 4 trailers this week because there were a lot of good trailers. So, that's what we're doing. So we'll just, whoops. I forgot I had this. You can probably see my face turn massively purple every time I go to a different screen because the brightness on my screen is a lot. But what? I'm just gonna leave you to your devices. Anyways,
Yeah, sorry.
first trailer we have for today is the Monster Hunter Rise official release trailer, or launch trailer rather. So here we go.
This is for my fellow hunters! Let's go! After it!
You listen to me now!
Feel my strength! Have a taste of this! Don't take this personal!
I'll show no mercy!
And that was the Monster Hunter Rise official release trailer.
Nice.
Yes, also discussed in the trailer is a new free title update with new monsters is coming late April, so that's just something else. Yes, Monster Hunter Rise looks. I love Monster Hunter. I can't stress this. It looks really good.
Yeah.
And
my
I like
brother got it the other
sorry.
day, so I might try it out.
Yeah, what were you saying, Max? I interrupted you.
My brother got it the other day, so I might try it out soon.
Of course he got it. Of course he did. Didn't he also get World?
Yeah, he has World, and
Yeah, that's what I thought.
yeah, he's the one who pushed me to play Ultimate. Generations Ultimate is just like, okay.
Ultimate,
He's the reason you have a distaste for Monster Hunter then.
Ultimate was fun. The only problem with Ultimate is that you can't progress past monsters you can't figure out how to beat.
Are you talking about
it's just-
for Ultimate?
I'm talking about the game that I was playing where I got to a monster I couldn't defeat.
I mean,
I handed you the controller and you beat it immediately, and I was like, "Yay!" And then the next monster was even harder to defeat. And I was just like, "Okay, this game."
I assume you're talking about 4 Ultimate,
Probably.
because that's the 3DS one. Max is referring to Generations Ultimate, which is the Wii. Sorry, not the Wii. I almost said Wii U. It's like, that's not the console. It's on the Switch. That's the Switch. It's the Switch. Yes, I have a distinct feeling that your brother is the cause of many of your dislikings for a lot of things.
Possibly.
I mean, you went into Monster Hunter Ultimate, Generations Ultimate, basically not knowing what you were getting yourself into.
Yep.
And now that I've done the
That's for sure.
explanation of what that game is, you realize why it was a bad starting point.
That's true.
But yeah, like I said, I have the demo of Rise, and I have played some of it, just not this week because I didn't get around to it. But I have played some of it, and what I have played is very fun. It's Monster Hunter, but the movement is more dynamic than, well, it's probably it's closer to World in terms of its movement system and probably some of its attacking systems. But yeah, I don't know what it's doing in regards to classic Monster Hunter at this point, because it feels very much like how World looks. So you have all a lot of the, what are they called? You have a lot of the systems that were like quality things. What are they called? Quality somethings.
Quality of life?
Yes, that's the word I'm looking for. God, I've forgotten that.
Life improvements.
I've been trying to figure out that word for so long. I don't know why I forgot it. Yes, Monster Hunter World added a lot of quality of life improvements to the Monster Hunter formula, which made it more successful in the West. So Monster Hunter Rise has also done that. Kept some of those, but I don't know what it's doing, because some people have said it's sort of like a mixture of classic and World. So I don't know what the classic systems are as of yet. But anyways, Rise, yes, it looks really fun.
Looks cool.
And it does play pretty good. What about you, Matthew? You silent person? Yeah, that's why I thought.
It looked a little bit more colorful than 4 Ultimate, if I remember correctly.
I mean, probably. It was that was a game on the 3DS, so it had limitations.
That is a good point.
Yeah, Max.
MMORPG.
I guess you'll have to let me know what your experience with Rise is, and if it has a good tutorial or not.
I'll let you know.
If it doesn't have a good tutorial, then you're just fucked in general.
All right.
Like, if Monster Hunter Rise doesn't have a tutorial, then your luck with Monster Hunter is officially the worst.
All right. Cool.
Is it an MMO or a single player?
It's single player.
Single player, but you can play with other people.
Okay.
It has a single player campaign stuff, but you can also go on hunts with people. I've done this with you, Devin.
Mm-hmm.
We've gone on hunts together before.
I just didn't know if there was a difference between Rise and 4.
I mean, it's more but it's more Monster Hunter. The general overall mechanics aren't exactly different. There was just more quality of life enhancements.
Okay.
So, like, you don't have to bring whetstones or picks. You just have infinite whetstones and picks.
Oh, that's good.
I like that. I did not enjoy rationing whetstones.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because, like, you can carry 20 whetstones with you, so it's not like it's an issue. You're not going to run out of them on a hunt. So it was basically just like, well, might as well just give you the option to not have any in your inventory at all. Same with pickaxes, where it's like you had a limit on how many pickaxes you could carry, and they had a random amount of uses.
Yeah.
So you could sometimes hit something and break instantly, or hit something multiple times.
Yeah.
How'd they change that?
Yeah. You have You have an infinite pickaxe.
What? Okay, that's fine.
What's wrong with the what?
I enjoyed having limited pickaxes because then I had to like make choices. Where it's
Well,
like
the thing about here's the
do I
main problem
use
with that.
pickaxe for a different thing to break?
I get liking that system. The main problem with having limited pickaxes is that the gathering system is also completely different. So each individual item has their own item instead of gathering points where you'd get a multitude of items from a single point. Every individual item has its own gathering spot. So you don't have to hope for RNG. You can just go find it.
Oh, okay.
Which is better than the previous system because you could sometimes be wandering around hoping to get the thing you want with the limited amount of pickaxes you have.
It's different than the previous system.
I'm not going to say it's inherently better because I get liking that system, but it's more tedious than the new one.
Yeah.
It's like, it's definitely more tedious.
More tedious, but unfortunately, it's also more organized. So, there's a trade-off there.
The maps are also continuous instead of zoned. So you have, instead of individual zones with loading between them, you have zones, quote unquote, but there's no loading in between each of them.
So it's like chunk rendering?
No, there's no loading in between each zone.
So
like the zones are still numbered and they have stuff in them, but there's no loading point in between each.
Just all loaded.
So it's all just a continuous map.
They're just rendered differently because they're not actually going to render stuff you're not in, right?
Well, yeah, that's how games work. But yeah.
Oh, what are you talking about?
It's all still loaded in, technically, but not all loaded. Not
a lot
everything
of
is
games,
like loaded at high quality.
a
A lot of games don't necessarily load per se what you're not looking at because it would, if they did, it would increase the amount of it would increase the amount of power necessary.
Yeah. It is just render distance still. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways,
so as you walk closer to something, the bushes will start appearing.
Nah, not that bad.
It's not going to have any pop in.
That's what bad render distance is.
It's not going to have any pop in for that matter.
You get a cyberpunk situation where you got people walking around in the sky, and then you walk closer, and a staircase appears.
Yeah.
No.
Don't remind me.
This is Capcom. This isn't CD Projekt Red, who are doing some very strange things.
Yeah.
But we'll
Maybe
get to that later.
Ambitious.
Anyways, Monster Hunter Rise. It looks very good. I'm very excited for playing it.
I am not, but I am happy for people that are excited to play it.
Yeah, same.
Well,
I'm not a Monster Hunter person. I will play my one game and get good at it eventually.
not a.
Yeah.
Do you have your 3DS back?
No.
That's what I thought. Anyways,
I have Matthews. I could use Matthews.
For what?
For Monster Hunter, which I'm not actually sure if I still have one on Monster Hunter.
We'll see what happens. Anyways, next. So that was the trailer for Monster Hunter Rise. Looks very good. And moving on to our next trailer, which is buttons. Come on, work for me. This is the Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne HD Remaster official trailer. Jeez.
Enjoy your last moments as a human. This world is about to be swallowed by chaos. It's called the Conception, the rebirth of the world.
To me, it is I who will create the new world.
Man is destined to die and the world to end. Yet still, you challenge the order of the universe.
The world is still being recreated. Its shape is not yet fixed.
The power of creation will be mine.
To create or destroy this world, the choice lies with you.
that was the. Whoops! I pressed the wrong button. Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne HD Remaster. God, that is a mouthful.
Your off-screen guest thinks that looks awful.
Which off-stream guest?
Me, the one that just spoke.
All right then. Well, you're not part of this podcast, so you don't get an opinion. Anyways, that's coming out in May 25th for the PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, and PC.
Next, what was your defense for it?
I was saying, like, well, it's a remaster of a PS2 game, so it's not. I don't think it would really look all that great.
How old is that?
Like before 2007.
10, 12 years ago, something like that.
Before 2007.
I can look it up.
Oh, okay, wow.
And like they're not like it's not a remake, so it's just cleaning it up a bit. So of course it's not gonna look great.
Yeah, it's a remaster, not a remake.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought
Remakes mean remakes mean they are literally remaking the game from the ground up. Remasters means they're touching up the game and porting it to a new system.
Okay.
Also, that was released in 2003. So
2003.
You know.
Wow.
Out of curiosity, what is your opinions on remastered versus remaking? Like, I personally would rather have a remaked game.
It depends.
You would rather them remake the game.
It depends on the game. Because some things about the design choices back then sometimes they won't carry over. Like recently, the SpongeBob game that got a remake. They got remade. Yeah, it got remade. They changed up some of the mechanics, which a lot of people were not happy about.
Why did they do that though?
It's just I don't know, creative choice. So like
making a game, you shouldn't make creative choices.
They think. Well, that's the problem with remaking a game. Sometimes they make choices that they think is for the better, but other people think it's for the worse. But
it's movies.
It's the same thing. Not everyone's going to be happy. So in some cases remasters work. In some cases remakes work. It depends on how it is.
So much dust.
Well, generally speaking, remakes are done for games that are much older and really have to be remade.
Mm-hmm.
Like Spyro and Crash, which were on the PS1, and a lot of the original code was kind of lost, so they basically had to remake it from the ground up. So, for those two. But then you have stuff like SpongeBob, where, they remade it, and they made it sort of better, but they also made it kind of worse because they took away some of the cartoonish to the game in the animations, and also just like that was a very like bare bones remake because they didn't even get new voice acting.
Oh, they didn't.
They didn't. No, that's not new voice acting. I know for a fact it's not new voice acting because they didn't get Clancy Brown.
Yeah. Then you have stuff like Final Fantasy VII, where they had a remaster, but then they also just have the Final Fantasy VII remake, which is just adding so much and turning into a very new modern experience.
Yeah, there's also that. But
yeah, Shin Megami Tensei. Don't know what it is.
3
Atlas,
Nocturne. Okay, so Shin Megami Tensei 3 is technically the third game in the Megami Tensei series, which started with Shin Megami Tensei Digital Devil Story, which was on the Famicom and never ported anywhere. And then you have Digital Devil Story 2, which is also on the Famicom and not ported or translated anywhere. And then after that, you also dip into the Persona Revelations Persona, which is the first Persona game before the Shin Megami Tensei title was added to it. And then you get a few Persona games and a few other like mini Megami Tensei titles. And then you have Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne, which is I think where the Shin title was put into it because that was a translation thing, but then it just kind of turned into the main sort of title of the series. So 3 Nocturne is technically the third in a series of games that were never ported. So in its original release, it's just called Nocturne instead of 3 because it wouldn't make sense otherwise.
Is this all part of the Persona universe?
No, this is part of the Shin Megami Tensei universe because Persona is sort of a
connected to
subset
it.
spin-off series of Shin Megami Tensei, which is why it has the name, but it's not the same series. And a lot of the games are contained to their own universes anyways. So
in terms of canon, with the Shin Megami Tensei canon, are you using, is the official canon the remake or the original?
God.
Well, this isn't a remake. This is a remaster. So it's the exact same game. It just looks a little bit better.
Okay, so is it the remastering or the original?
They're both the same game.
Okay, but which one of them goes in the is the official canon version?
They're both official. They're both the official canon version because they are the exact same game.
Okay, I haven't seen too much about this yet, but I assume they're, aside from rebalancing the encounters, because apparently Nocturne's really hard, was really hard because of some balancing issues. Aside from rebalancing the game so that doesn't happen, there probably won't be any major changes.
Okay.
It's not like a Persona 3 FES or Persona 4 Golden, where they literally add massive story elements to the games.
Yeah, and it's just the same game, just being ported to a new system and just cleaned up a bit.
Max, why did you suddenly become really quiet?
And he's gone.
I'm here.
You're a little quiet.
No, you're like super quiet on my end.
Yeah, same.
He's fading out of existence.
I know, my computer is a little stupid sometimes.
Ah, you're back.
Before Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne, there were 2 other spin-off Megami Tensei games. And then there was that, and then there was the Persona series that was added onto that. And then you have, because there's Shin Megami Tensei 4, which was on the 3DS, and Shin Megami Tensei Revelations, which was also on the 3DS, that comes after 4. And then you have the other Persona games that were on the 3DS. And it's really, I explained this last week. It's a big, weird mess.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, overall, just to answer our off-screen guest's question, who might not even be there anymore.
Oh, I am.
Oh, good to know. My personal opinion on remakes and remasters is that
very, very strong on that one.
my personal opinion on remakes and remasters is that remasters are generally done to remasters are generally done to games to sort of get a new audience onto it. Give it to a new audience. You know, it's like, this game is too old, you know, like very old. We need to remaster it, give it to a new audience. Remakes are generally done for very popular older titles, or titles that people think need to be remade into something new. And both of those things are not necessarily bad in their own right, but they can cause issues in the long run, because it starts creating this strange disconnect between the originals and the new versions. So you're basically losing legacy content by creating these new versions, which in turn makes older versions more expensive and harder to find. And also, you know, just overall, gaming industry doesn't really care about its past very much, unfortunately. So you have a lot of old games that are just almost lost to time.
Yeah.
And remakes and remasters sort of contribute to this, but it's more or less, it's less about them and more about the overall opinions of the gaming community as a whole that's sort of making this worse. Anyways, I probably went off on a tangent and didn't answer your question in a fulfilling way, but that's what we like to do here at the GTD podcast. We like to go off on tangents and not answer questions.
Now, you had mentioned that it's to bring in a new audience, but with something like that, because I mean, like the audio and the script just seemed kind of
Yeah, it's definitely a product of its time.
Yeah. So, and that's what really was like, I didn't really like is that that's what made it seem like it wouldn't be very interesting is how can they bring in, the remastered? I feel like the remastered would be like, oh, nostalgia. I used to play this back in the day.
Well, think of it like this. There are the new audience it's bringing in are people who want to play this game but can't because the older version is too hard to find. There's also that aspect of it.
I feel like the only way to really like fix up that issue would be is that like if maybe there was a problem with because it is a Japanese game. Maybe if before when it was first released it was like heavily localized, they would change it so that way it's now more accurate to the original product from Japan. But I don't think that's the case here. But like that's the only thing I think they would do if they did make like any major changes to the script or anything.
Maybe the real solution that we're not looking at is we should just pass a law that says all companies should put all of their video game intellectual property for free download on the internet.
Why?
They do that every time they stop. They do that every time they stop officially supporting anything.
No, here's the thing: only stuff from 30 plus years ago, or 20 years ago, or whenever it is.
Do you know how long the gaming industry has been around?
I have no idea.
I believe in 2014 was 40 years or so. So add another like something onto that.
Wow.
I don't know, because you had the Magnavox Odyssey, which was like the 70s.
The 1970s, apparently.
Yeah, the gaming industry's been around for a long while. Since the Atari.
Depends how you define long, but yes.
Yeah. In America, 50 years is like a really long time. This ain't England where 50 years happens in almost no time.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right then. Anyways.
Yeah. Anyway.
That was the trailer for Shin Megami 3 Nocturne HD Remaster. God. That title is so hard to say. I've said it like 5 times, which is just making it harder. Anyways, any just final thoughts on it? I guess I didn't really say much about it now I think about it. I just kind of got pulled into a tangent, which is not a terrible thing to do, but I should actually give my thoughts on it. I have not played the original. I plan on getting it at some point and playing it. But, I mean, I've always been interested in the series. I just never had the ability to play it. So this would give me the ability to do so, especially since I have a Switch. But I also like owning physical copies of old things because I'm a collector. So I enjoy owning physical copies of old games and finding stuff that, overall isn't released as much today. Anyways.
Yeah, it looks interesting. I don't really know much about it at all, but it's Atlas, and Atlas seems to have a really good mindset when it comes to creativity. Like a lot of their older games are very heavily regarded as classics. So
yeah. They also have a really good publishing side. They publish a lot of really weird games that are usually good.
So I'm definitely interested to see what it's all about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's also, technically there's 2 other games also in the Digital Devil, because there's Shin Megami Tensei Digital Devil Saga 1 and 2, which is not related to Digital Devil Story. It's its own thing that might have some connection to Nocturne, but I literally have no idea in that case. Anyways, Devin's frozen.
Yeah?
No, you're not.
Oh, you're not anymore. You were for like half a second.
I just don't think he's moving.
It's hard to tell. Anyways, yes, that was the trailer for Shin Megami 3 Nocturne HD. And just whatever final thoughts, and then we'll move on to our next trailer.
This, I guess, is a weird position to.
Nothing, Matthew?
Yep, and nothing
No.
else.
All right.
All right. Come on. No, stop what you were doing. Okay, moving on to our next trailer of the day is the announcement trailer for Godstrike. And that was the trailer for Godstrike, available, as it said in the trailer, April 15th on Nintendo Switch. And probably other places because it's an indie game. Yes, I think that looks pretty cool. Sort of like a interesting twin stick shooter kind of thing. It's been a while since I've seen like a somewhat high-end twin stick shooter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
It looked a little bit like a mobile game, but I can understand if it's an indie game, then that's why.
Why does it look like a mobile? It honestly reminds me a lot of Hades, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, with the top-down camera angle.
And just like the general art style. And sort of
I
a
know I'm
set.
not part of this podcast, but I agree with Devin. It did look like a mobile game to me. It was, except for you can kind of control the guy going around in circles shooting, but it reminded me of Command and Conquer a little bit. Like,
I mean, yeah, graphically it's not the greatest, but I mean,
It's not a bad thing.
It has
it's not a bad thing.
It has a flat art style, which is not it's not a mark against it, but you know, there isn't a lot of shading on a lot of.
Yeah, and then the gameplay element was time is your currency and your health. I thought
Yes, that's one of the things about it. I thought that was a really cool idea. The idea that
My first thought. Oh, sorry.
What?
No, my first thought was that speedrunners would probably really like that.
Oh,
it's an interesting.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I thought that was a really cool gameplay mechanic, which is the idea, like, you know, time is your health, but also, you know, your currency. I thought that was an interesting idea. You have these time-based levels, but you also have to be careful because of your health and also other things. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, it depends on how they execute.
Somewhat unique gameplay mechanic that I haven't really seen that much. Yes.
Best.
Yeah.
Anything?
It looks pretty interesting.
Yeah, all right. What about you, Matthew? Mr. Plays No Games.
Hey. I play at least one game.
Yeah, have you seen what he's done in that game? That one game that he plays? Wow, he can do a lot of crazy stuff in that one game.
Yeah, that one game.
I build a lot. But it looks to me again.
All right.
You need to develop some kind of taste in video games.
Do I?
I don't know. Maybe.
I like Minecraft.
We should watch a Minecraft trailer for the new Minecraft.
I'm gonna play a certain game eventually. I just keep forgetting to text Max about scheduling.
Yeah, but they still make trailers.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
When's the last time you saw a Minecraft trailer?
That was back when the Nether update came out.
Yeah.
It's
I
like 2 years ago.
I also saw advertisements for Pocket
How
Edition
long ago, Max?
Whoops.
Like
or
2 years
Windows
ago.
10 edition, whatever. I have a Mac, and yet I got
Oh, wait,
Windows
no,
10
that's
edition ads. I don't understand that.
Because they want to convert you. I don't know. Yes.
The Nether update was released June 5th, 2020.
Okay, June 5th was when we last saw a Minecraft ad. So there.
Yeah.
That was mainly a suggestion that would get Matthew to give his thoughts on something. If you're curious what his thoughts are.
Right. All right then. Well, that was the trailer for Godstrike, and as we can tell from the enthusiastic opinions, it's going to be very good.
Yeah. I wonder if it. I wonder what the level design is going to be, because I don't know, art style wise, it reminds me a lot of Dead Cells and Hades. So I wonder if it's going to be another roguelike.
So it's a twin stick shooter, so it might have more open gameplay. But anyways,
yeah.
So
I hope it has cool puzzle.
It might.
So
sorry. No. Moving on to our final trailer of the day, which is a trailer for Death's Door. And that was the trailer for Death's Door, published by Devolver Digital, coming to all of the, well, actually, it's on, according to this, it's coming to Xbox, the Xbox stuff, and Steam.
Please don't be a Microsoft original. That looks good.
It's not. If I can hold on, I can get to the blob, whatever.
Look it up.
The opening cinematic looked like it was like it's
Acid Nerve.
Yeah, it looks like they have a sense of humor, which I like in games. And it kind of reminded me of classic Zelda, but if he was a chicken.
Yeah, this game automatically gains 1,000 points because you play as a crow.
Yeah.
A cute crow with a sword. That game automatically gains 10,000. Yeah. My favorite. But yes, that was Death's Door. It looks like visually looks fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's by Devolver Digital.
Yeah, very simple, but there's a lot more going on.
Yeah, so just gameplay wise, top down hack and slash sort of affair. Probably sort of similar to Hades and a couple other, Hades is the most recent thing that did something like this. Yeah. There's a lot of games in this sort of style, but it looks very polished and nice, and also published by Devolver Digital. And they have a very good track record in regards to their publishing house. They publish a lot of really good stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, definitely looks interesting.
Mm-hmm. You got nothing,
Just-
man.
I don't know. I don't got much to say. It's definitely something to keep an eye on.
It reminds
Mhm.
me of how I feel looking at Lego games, and that's always a good thing.
Okay.
I mean, it looks like it's significantly more advanced combat wise and more fun to play, but or not more fun to play, older to play.
More intuitive.
More
intuitive
Lego games.
Right. Yes. Anything? Matt?
No, it's like
Yeah, its graphics are really good and it looks fine.
That's something about it.
an opinion. But no, it definitely gives me some Hades vibes, but the art style, I can't remember what it reminds me of, but I like how it kind of went with the noir aesthetic at first.
Yeah, it's
Definitely-
semi-noir.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like chicken
like-
noir.
It also like it doesn't look papercraft, but it kind of gives me that like vibe.
hmm
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like these very simple shapes.
yeah, definitely interested to see where that game goes.
Yeah, looks very, very good. Did we have? Well, I don't think we have a release date for it yet. I think that was just the reveal.
Yeah, I think that was just the announcement.
But anyways, God, I should stop saying that. I need to stop doing that. That was the trailer for Death's Door, which was our final trailer of the day. So, unless we have more room to talk about it, we'll just swiftly move on to host topics. All right, cool. Matthew, give me a host topic right now.
No.
All right, cool. Any host topics just around the table?
MMO D&D.
What?
MMO D&D.
What's wrong with that?
No, I'm just curious if you think that would work or if it's
There is
already
an MMO D&D.
it already exists.
There's a
Okay, that's
Neverwinter MMO.
Well, then
Still
also
going
Dungeons and
strong.
Dragons
Actually,
just
there was a
hasn't
trailer
featured
for a new update for Neverwinter with the
Is it a
MMO.
single player game though?
But
It's an
MMO
MMO.
is by definition not single player.
Is it a single player, as in you're one person on one computer?
Can be, I guess.
Is it, in other words, is it because it's hard to play single player D&D, so it should be hard to play single player video game D&D, right? Same logic,
No,
same medium.
that's not how that works.
It is how it works. Okay, how about
The computer is the DM, you daft idiot.
Okay, is there a phone MMO of D&D like Pokemon Go, but it's D&D Go?
Why would that even?
Not
No.
officially.
That would be
That wouldn't work at all.
Not
It-
there's not an official one, but I know there are some that are similar to the idea you're saying.
Okay.
Where you'd have to meet up at like parks and battle
Yeah.
each other. Yeah, that would be.
Or battle dungeons at parks.
Yeah,
Like gather your friends together to go to a dungeon.
find treasure. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why did you?
Pokemon Go, but D&D.
Yeah,
You're
but there is
asking
an
about
official
single
like Dungeons
player,
and
then you just
Dragons
changed
online
your
game.
subject
But
matter
it's not on the phone.
completely.
It's not Pokemon Go.
Okay.
What are you?
I'm not sure exactly what I'm not sure exactly what you're trying to get out of this conversation.
I want to know your thoughts on it. If you think it's a good idea.
D&D is definitely very heavy in its mechanics, where Pokemon is a lot simpler in design.
That is true.
So I think if D&D were to try to make a mobile game, it'd be very weird. But they have games.
The main selling point for Pokemon Go is that you can go out into the real world and catch Pokemon. That's the only
Yeah,
reason
well,
anybody does it.
That's what Devin's trying to say, is that you would go out in the real world and you like dungeon crawl or.
Oh, okay.
But,
Yeah.
But it's through
mean,
the game.
But you want it something, but you're thinking
It's much
something
cheaper
like-
to just LARP, you know. Same
Maybe.
basic concept.
I know that's the problem with making something like this. You can't really Pokemon Go on your own, but you can just play D&D with your friends in your head. You can't really play Pokemon Go in your head, though.
It wouldn't really be a D&D game so much as it would be an RPG game that you can play like Pokemon Go.
Like a social RPG, like Pokemon Go.
I mean, I'm sure something like that exists. Niantic has been making stuff.
I mean, yeah, Niantic's Pokemon Go, right? Just as a application. Yeah, I mean, like they literally made something similar to what you're talking about before Pokemon Go. Like it was the previous game they did.
And it failed.
No, it didn't. It was extremely successful. That's why they were given the rights to make Pokemon Go.
Yeah, I believe
I've never heard of it.
Well, I believe it was only really popular in Japan.
Because you've never heard of it doesn't mean it's not successful.
The world is in but my eye, or something like that.
He's saying this like it even matters to him when he has a flip phone. Like
that is true. That is.
Yeah.
Anyway. I don't know. Like D&D has made the Dungeons and Dragons property has been used to make video games, but they're always like set in like the same world.
There's a lot of Baldur's Gate. A lot of Baldur's Gate, a lot of sort of like you get some not Morrowind, sorry. You have like Neverwinter, you have Icewind Dale, you have like Baldur's Gate, and then you have what's that game? Like you have the Baldur's Gate games, which are like a lot of people know, and honestly, there are some very good Dungeon and Dragons sort of games out there. You know, there are good ones.
I could try playing them, maybe.
Like there's the Baldur's Gates games, and then there's also the Neverwinter. Like Icewind Dale is a very interesting isometric RPG, real-time strategy RPG, which is like very crushingly hard, but also very interesting. And that sort of has a D&D thing going on. What's that game called?
Yeah, and then
like
Dungeons and Dragons also just has like an online MMO that they made.
Just now?
No, it's I think it's like a decade old at this point.
Neverwinter.
Yeah,
Dungeons and Dragons Neverwinter is an online MMO that has been around for a long time, but they recently there was a recent trailer for it.
Hey, there was another one, I think. Hold on, let me double check my facts.
Always Winter.
Neverwinter is
I know, but the other game is Always Winter.
It's not Always Winter. You're Always Winter.
You know, there's a Dungeons and Dragons MMO called Dungeons and Dragons Online.
There's also that was less successful though.
That sounds like Magic Online.
That was made in 2006.
Planescape. I was trying to remember. Planescape.
Okay, yes.
There's also Planescape Torment, which is like one of the most beloved games of all time.
I have heard of it, and I have wanted to play it, and I have also just not played it because no console. And
you can get it on GOG.
Is that Steam?
No, it's better than Steam because there's no DRM. GOG or Good Old Games is a nice site where you can purchase games DRM free and you own them yourself because you have the files downloaded on your computer and they will never go away as long as you have them on your computer.
Okay.
That's what I love about GOG because they'll keep the games on their site so you can always re-download them, but as long as they're on your computer, you own them forever. There's no link, there's nothing tied to that. They're just things on your computer. So I have Planescape Torment on GOG. I just haven't played it yet because I have a lot of games, okay?
Can I use your GOG of it and download it?
Well, you can.
Wait,
I guess technically speaking, you could, but it's not that expensive. Like I'm pretty sure it's not even $9.
Okay, but Aaron, so you want to know a way to make $9? Save $9 because a penny saved is a penny earned, and $9 saved is $9 earned, and I'm cheap.
Okay.
I'm not poor. I'm cheap. Extremely cheap.
Good to know.
I'm gonna bring this back around to Devin's RPG on the go game. There's actually
At
one
least somebody knows what they're doing.
There's one called Orna. It's the GPS RPG, and it's got retro Final Fantasy graphics, and it looks like it's pretty similar concept to Pokemon Go, but yeah, it looks pretty cool.
I mean, there have been plenty of sort of phone mobile RPG games around the world, like stuff like that, mobile MMOs and stuff like that. Like, there's been plenty that have done sort of what you're talking about. It's just like your position of like Dungeons and Dragons. It's just kind of like,
okay.
I mean, I guess you could. There's nothing inherently stopping anybody from doing it.
Well, I
Other
have
than
contacts.
Trademarks and stuff.
I have my ways of contacting people in Wizards of the Coast who know people who can make important decisions. Customer service knows some people, I'm sure, so I can just call them.
Okay.
Right.
Yes.
But yeah, as far as like games like Pokemon Go, Niantic also made a Harry Potter game, and right now they're working on a Pikmin game.
Oh yeah, there's another.
Oh yeah, and they're making a
Pikmin mobile.
Catan game as well.
Cool.
Okay, that's cool. And it's pronounced Catan.
Okay, Catan. Sorry, I don't play board games.
It's pronounced both ways, but it's properly pronounced Catan.
Okay.
You
So
only
yeah,
pronounce it
apparently they're making a Catan game where you can
pronounce it Catan if you're messing around.
It's a multiplayer game where you can build your own Catan universe or something. Interesting.
Cool.
So yeah, I think like we are going to get more games like that, and they're probably going to be better than Pokemon Go.
Probably, hopefully less battery intensive.
Yeah, hopefully. But one can
That's
dream.
never gonna happen.
Or they'll just create new phones that are just extra thick so they can hold 3 batteries.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're just make better batteries.
Yeah.
Maybe someday we'll get the real life dungeon crawler.
Or we could use the old what's his name? Tesla had an airwave recharging technology.
If you want to do the real life dungeon crawler, what you need to do is get geocaching and start putting stuff inside caves, and
and then so do geocaching, and then also hire some scientists to make some mutant monsters to put in these caves.
Yes.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and then just go caving.
Yeah, give them
do
some
that.
zap collars so they don't escape and wander off.
Yeah.
Just be a regular treasure hunter.
I'm down.
Just get yourself a metal detector and go around.
That sounds boring.
Not instant gratification.
You need the excitement.
It
The
would be fun
adventure.
though. Have a novel that starts off with, so why are we in the middle of this jungle again? It's like, oh yeah, some scientist played too much D&D and made a mutant race of goblins or whatever, and we have to go wipe them out before they take over everything.
Yeah. All right then.
That'd be funny.
Right. No, we've officially
Okay.
gotten off topic now. I don't even know what our
Yeah, a little
topic
bit.
was.
Sorry.
We've
Little
officially
bit.
gone very
Monica
off
tried
the
to
deep
save us.
end.
It's fine.
How about we get back to host topics?
Okay, D&D, go.
Max, go.
I don't got one. So okay, no, here's one. Okay, here's a host topic. Socializing through games.
Ooh.
All right.
What are your thoughts and opinions on that?
It's a
For me-
thing that you can do.
For me, it's like, yeah, it's good enough since quarantine and all that. But then also it's just, gosh, I just miss talking to people.
Well, personally, I met my 14th wife through a video game, and we are going very strong.
I have many questions, but go on.
I've known her for a week,
God damn it.
but I'm pretty sure that signing amnesty was totally. It's called amnesty, right?
I don't think so.
Prenup. The thing that it's prenup. Not having her sign prenup was a fine decision. That's that's the joke.
Okay.
Okay, yes, that's the joke.
Yes.
It's going over
What
people's
the
heads.
heck? I don't know where
Yeah.
this is going.
About how
Cool, man. Happy for
he's
you.
gonna give her all of his money because they're
Half.
gonna get divorced.
Half.
Half. Okay.
Not
Well, it depends on how good her lawyer is. But
Oh. The joke
Cool,
is
man.
that,
Happy for you.
the joke is that me in the scenario, I've gotten married 14 times because I keep marrying the wrong person. It's a joke though.
Okay.
yeah, games.
Yeah, because I'm marrying people via
Good
games.
joke, man.
I shouldn't have explained.
My opinion on socializing through games is that it's actually because of quarantine I got back into playing D&D online, because having a baby and trying to go out to play D&D
A bit hard.
is a bit hard. So it's been really good to be able to play online. So I play twice a week online, which is super fun.
Mhm.
And well, I play twice a month online. It's just the same week. So but
Yes. What?
Aaron, what are your thoughts on socializing in games?
I mean, the main thing that like I wanted to bring up is that like, because I can't go out and see people, like socializing online is kind of like the only thing I can do.
I mean,
But like, I find that there's still like a huge disconnect between that and being in person still.
I mean, there's always going to be, because
there's always going to be
in
but I mean,
person
like,
with them.
how I just wonder, like, how big of a disconnect is it for you guys? Like, is it like,
Well, I never got into sort of socializing online like I've never been one to like, comment
engage
on
in conversation
anything,
online,
like post comments on anything or interact in like forums or something like that. Like I interact with community, but in a much different way than actively interacting with them. I guess, I mean, I've interacted with plenty of people through Dark Souls because of the way that game works, but you don't talk to them. You can communicate through gestures. I've fought plenty of people, helped out plenty of people through Dark Souls. So there's that aspect. But like, I've also just I've played a lot of multiplayer games, but I've never like interacted with people per se.
so one of the
But
things
like overall, I would say the
Aaron interrupts constantly. My timing's ever bad too.
what? Overall, I would say that interacting online is different because it's over, instead of in person, it's over online. But
my grandpa would say that's because you can't smell each other's farts.
Personally, I don't think there's that big of a disconnect though.
Okay.
I do. I agree with you, Max. Like, so I've always socialized both ways, either online via writing sites or anything like that. Like I've done a lot of different things, socializing online throughout the years, and then versus interacting with my peers, hopefully, and I find that I'm less likely to be hold myself accountable when I have like a plan to meet online or to chat with somebody online, because to me it doesn't seem like there's like this actual tangible thing. It's just like whenever they're online I can message them whatever kind of thing. Right. It ends up being that I don't talk to them for months at a time and I don't even realize it. But one of the things that I really miss is just getting together with people, sitting around a table, even if you're not actually playing anything. And
everybody misses that right now.
I like playing D&D with you guys and sharing food.
That's
That-
what you miss the
I
most.
I
Yeah,
miss
it's the food.
Food,
popcorn.
the food, the popcorn. Oh, how we lived.
I was gonna mention, for me, that's one of the big things whenever I'm at a gathering and like a Zoom call or something, and it starts to feel like an actual thing is going on. I get immediately disconnected when we can't share food,
Right.
and I'm like, that sucks.
Yeah. It's always when like you would do something like physically, like you like share the food or like point at someone or something, but like you just can't do that.
Yeah.
Like it's not.
Have you ever been on a 20-person Zoom call and you try to point at someone? It's impossible.
No, that no.
Mine is rolling dice. I know it sounds really stupid, but I love just the feel of rolling dice.
Yeah.
And also electronic dice, they're rigged. I swear they are.
No, I'm sure
Yep.
they are.
Aaron has experience with this.
My virtual dice roll is definitely broken. It's
Yeah,
so unbelievably broken. Like the fact that I rolled that many 1s and 20s in a row of each other is definitely wrong on some degree.
No, that's just how statistics work, Aaron.
Oh yeah, right.
You roll
Statistics.
one, and
I
then you
like
roll a 20,
those. I
and
like
then you roll a 1, and then you
statistics.
roll a 20, and then you roll a 1.
Yeah, it's just the
That's
algorithm.
definitely how statistical chance
Yeah,
works.
that's definitely how that works. Anyways,
It's because it gets stuck in a loop where it's like, if you roll a 20, if there's a 50% chance you're rolling a 20 or a 1, and you rolled a 1, then it's a 100% chance you roll a 20 on the next roll, and because you rolled a 20, it's a 100% chance of a 1.
Well,
Right.
there's this theory. I don't know how accurate it is, but I've heard that if you've won the lottery, your statistics of winning the lottery, it's actually your chances are actually higher if you've already won the lottery. So maybe if you've already rolled a 1 or a 20, your
That's
chances
weird.
are actually higher to roll it again.
statistical values are always very strange because math is very strange.
In the lottery, pay more money to spend on the lottery.
Anyway, Matthew, got
But-
anything to add to the original
Yes.
topic?
Post topics, god damn it.
Yes.
I just don't like interrupting people. So personally, oh no, everything froze for a second.
No, everything's fine.
Okay, sorry, I'm lagging a lot for some reason.
It's cool.
So personally, it really depends on what I'm doing. Like for certain things, I really like the online type stuff that I've learned how to do because of this.
Mhm.
Because I did not know what I had never had a Discord before it.
Yeah.
Same.
And I prefer in person overall, I think. Especially for D&D.
Well, I think there is credence to playing over on online for D&D, especially if you're using Roll20, because like you can do maps so much better than you can in person. Like you're making it digital instead of physical, which is automatically making the mapping process much easier because you don't have to lug around physical things.
I don't understand
Yeah.
how to use Roll20. So
Not that difficult. The only difficult thing is making maps because you're like, how do I make this look good? I'm never happy.
But yeah, go on, Matthew.
Requires a bit of artistic ability,
Sure,
which is
but-
unfortunate.
where were they?
Like you said, like there's definitely some things you enjoy doing more in person and online.
Yeah. Like obviously playing Minecraft with people and that sort of thing and gaming is obviously easier online. Who would have guessed? Otherwise you have to have the other person physically at your computer.
I mean, it's sort of that sorry to interrupt, but it's sort of that dichotomy of like playing online is always fun, especially with friends, but nothing beats the feeling of playing with your friend in the room next to you on a co-op game, like in front of you. Nothing beats that feeling. Nothing beats being able to see your friend get angry at you in person when you beat him. it's it's something that we lose more and more as the years go on because online becomes more and more the norm, and
I don't think I've ever experienced what you were talking about.
that's because you don't play video games.
Shit. So, where was I?
I don't remember.
I was hoping to jump back right away, but it doesn't work now. Oh well.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
were talking like games online. Are
Yeah,
always...
for games I prefer Discord, obviously. It's just a lot easier. Why'd everything freeze?
Everything's fine.
Stop.
Everything's fine?
Yeah, everything's fine. Just keep going.
Okay.
You're not frozen on our end. Just keep going.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on with you, but keep going.
So, anyway, yeah. For a lot of things, I prefer in person. Like for talking to people, or pretty much everything other than video games, I think. I prefer in person because it's just easier.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just easier. It's like, yeah, I can just talk to the person. I can throw them across a room if I want to.
I mean, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's the thing. Online's never going to beat the ability to just be in a room with all your friends doing something stupid. Online is fine for when it works, but humans are inherently social creatures, so even if we're talking to somebody online, it doesn't fulfill the social need of being next.
You reminded me of something that I was wanting to say, but yeah. Okay, so something that online has not helped me with is being shy, because I don't get as much new social interaction.
I would say it's the opposite for me, but
it's a lot harder because I'm still trying to be less shy, because it's a lot easier to live life if you're not being overly shy all the time.
Sure.
And all of it happening in my house, in the one place I live, it gets it to be very easily overwhelming for me. Like talking, chores, everything. And that's not a good thing in my case.
Yeah, I get that.
Because if I have too much social interaction, I have to be quiet for hours. Yeah. It's just...
Yeah, I think... Go ahead.
Yeah, it's just... Oof.
Yeah, I think you're more introverted in that sense.
Oh yes, I am an introvert. But I'm an inward processing introvert.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm more of an extrovert, so I like hanging out with people, and it's just, I don't know, I just feel... I don't know. I feel like talking online just isn't good enough for me, but it's the best I got right now, so it's I just kind of have to live with it.
To be honest,
at this point,
I'm a kind of
everybody's tired of being inside. Everybody's tired of talking online. Everybody's tired of everything that's going on. But you just have to live a little longer.
I'm kind of strange in my introverted inward processing, because I also really dislike playing games by myself.
Well, yeah. That's fair.
Like, single player bores me to death in Minecraft and most games.
Well, because there's
nothing to bounce off of, I guess.
I get that.
I like talking and role playing and that sort of thing.
Really?
What's going on?
It's really difficult to do that when you're playing on your own.
I mean, yeah.
That's probably why I don't play a lot of video games, actually.
Yeah, I think really, I think you just need a good single player, like a good single player game experience, and I think that'll help you, open up more to the idea. I think right now basically is just that you haven't had a good experience with single player games yet.
Well, Breath of the Wild was really good. I really, really liked Breath of the Wild.
Mhm.
And I like creative mode Minecraft because I like building maps.
Mhm.
I still need to continue. I need to pick it back up where I left off with another map, with one map that I've been focusing on. I just couldn't for a bit. But like, if the game has any tangible ending and I complete that ending, whether it actually ends the game or not, I will suddenly be pretty much disinterested in it.
Well, yeah, that's because the story's over.
Yeah. Well, like,
yeah.
When I was talking about Breath of the Wild, it has a ending. It doesn't really have an ending. It technically has an ending, but you can see that ending like a number of minutes directly after you finish the game, because
you can go do the ending whenever you want. You can go kill Ganon whenever you want. But
the thing with other single player games is that usually when you reach the ending of the game, there's nothing to do. Like you can't go back into the game. You would have to start the game over again. That's something Breath of the Wild doesn't do. So
so there are 2 games. Well, actually more like one, because the other one's really long. There's one game that I've mentioned before that I've played probably over 100 times, all the way through.
Yeah.
It's Shining Force. Shining Force 2 is a lot longer, so I've played it less times. But now, due to how many times I've replayed it, it's not that I don't really like the game, it's just that I've played it too many times for that one.
Right.
And it's just like, it's the only game, and the other game as well, that I can play over and over if I give enough time between like overs and overs. If I actually just decide to. I don't know why.
Yeah. I mean,
but
most single player games are meant to be played only once.
Shining Force is definitely only meant to be played once.
Yeah, so I think it's like there are some games I can play over and over again because there are things I really like about it, like with the story or its design. But like in the end,
there are
usually usually like after one time playing a game, I'm usually done with it. So
yeah, I've replayed many games. Yeah. There are many games in my collection that I've replayed multiple times. Just citing Spyro, for instance. I replayed Spyro 3 so much that I know that game inside and out like the back of my hand. I know where everything is. Even if my most recent playthrough, I missed some stuff or forgot about some things. That was just because it's been so long. But usually, I basically memorized that entire game. I played it so much. I don't know how many playthroughs that would be, but it was a lot. And then you have stuff like Okami, which is like a very long game experience at this point. But I've played that multiple times, beaten it multiple times. I've beaten a lot of games multiple times over. Yeah. But you know, I get that not everybody likes to do that.
Yeah. It's not for everyone. Definitely. But I mean, like, I don't know. Unfortunately, I have to step out for like 5 to 10 minutes. So I'll be right back, guys. Go on without
dare you.
Sorry.
Why must you keep doing this to me?
I'll be back in like 5 to 10 minutes. Okay. Sorry. I'll be back. Okay.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna boopity 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 boop. We'll be right back. And we're back. Sorry for that in sporadic cut, but stuff happened, I guess. Isn't that right, Max?
Yes, it's fine.
You got the fires put out?
Sure. That's
Yeah,
my
all
work
the
limit.
fires are put out. All of the babies are back where they should be. Everything is fine. But yes, getting back into things, we had just sort of finished off talking about our host topic. Sort of. Whatever. Sort of.
Yeah, I don't think I really had much more to say.
Yeah, but does anybody else have a host topic? Outside of that, we'll just dip into our next subject matter.
Okay.
No host topics? Cool. Yes. I guess so it doesn't feel so like weird now left field. Just any final thoughts, just final like tapering thoughts on socializing in video games.
Someone should make a video game called Socializing in Video Games that simulates the feeling of socializing in video games.
There probably is one out there.
It's a VR game in which you sit down in front of a computer in VR and use Zoom.
Such a
nice
idea.
No.
VR game, so you're VRing a game in VR, in VR, and VR, and VR.
Just layers upon layers.
Can't log out. You turn the game on, it automatically is on always if you turn
It's
it
like
on.
the
unless you unplug
13th
it.
floor, but game version.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It'd be fun.
Which technically is actually the 13th floor because they are playing a game. But anyway.
Yes.
Hi.
So, final
No,
thoughts. Just
No,
before
I think I said everything I wanted to say.
You're so good.
All right, Matthew.
No bite.
I don't even remember what we were talking about at this point.
All right, fucking fine. Yes, socializing in video games is good and it will always be functional, but it will never fully beat socializing with real people, even though it has served as
No.
a adequate replacement for a lot of people over the
substitute.
years. So there you go. Now then, let's get into the news. Let's get into that news. So first up, we've got CD Projekt Red is reorganizing their studio a little bit.
Oh.
So
Wonderful.
CD Projekt Red reorganizing their studio to develop multiple AAA products at a time. So, I mean, do I even need to explain why that's a bad idea?
I mean, they can't even get one AAA game right.
Yeah. So CD Projekt Red is just reorganizing their company. So there's now two teams. They're just sort of working forward. Cyberpunk and the Witcher franchise were brought up as things that they want to continue with. The change of strategy development framework comes in response to disappointing launch of so they're basically separating their entire development staff into two teams to work on multiple AAA titles at once, which for a small studio already seems like a bad idea.
Yeah, I mean,
and also they spent, what was it, 8 years in development on Cyberpunk 2077, and they still launched it like that.
Yeah, they stated that they were developing it for the 8 years, but it turns out they were only developing it for maybe 2. And then also, I mean, they are saying that they're gonna grow its teams and work with outsourcing, but
yeah, they released like a video statement as well, but it's I can't it's not gonna show it to you guys because it's like whatever.
Yeah,
but just a quote from the boss, Adam Kaczynski, I think that's how you'd pronounce it. Want to improve the way we make games. We want to continuously improve the working environment for every team member. We want a sharper focus on how we work together to make great games. Yeah, the word crunch is not mentioned within the video at any point, which is probably a good thing for their PR, but it's definitely something that needs to be addressed officially by the company, considering how terrible Cyberpunk was at the end of its development cycle.
Yeah.
But new marketing campaigns will be much shorter. We'll wait until much closer to game's launch before we start showing things like trailers, demos, or going in depth about mechanics. Yeah, that might be a good idea.
Good idea.
We've learned many things.
But yeah, hopefully, it's changes for the better.
Yeah, this is just like a big mess on their part, because all they're really doing, like, even if they get bigger teams, which if they do, fine, but like they've always been sort of considered a small studio that works on like one game a fortnight. One game, like, because they've only had what? They've had the Witcher franchise, 77, Cyberpunk, like what else has
nothing else
produced? I'm pretty sure not much. They had what was it called?
Else. Like
Gwent. They made a Gwent video game, which is based on the card game in the Witcher series.
Yeah, and that's still getting support from them.
Yeah, I don't know what,
because
it's just like
a freaking mobile game.
Yeah, like
yeah, they've only had
God.
the Witcher. They've only had the Witcher stuff and Cyberpunk. That's it.
Yeah, they released a roadmap, which is one of my least favorite words AAA developers use. Yeah, 2021's product roadmap released by CD Projekt Red today shows they already announced plan for Cyberpunk 2077's patches, free DLC, and game was delayed next gen update, as well as its work on The Witcher, its mobile Monster Slayer spinoff, next gen update, and ongoing development of Gwent. Yeah, they also confirmed that they're planning to acquire Vancouver-based development studio Digital Scapes, which it has worked with since 2018, helping to build Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh, good luck.
Fourth office alongside existing teams in Warsaw, Krakow. Yeah, it's just they've lost a lot of their good faith that they've built up over the years thanks to Cyberpunk. And the revelation that they're kind of scummy in their work environment. So there's that.
Wonderful.
But anything from you two or three, I guess, in the case of Matthew?
No, just I don't know. Never cared for CD Projekt. I don't think I will.
I mean, yeah. It's what about you, Devin?
I don't have many opinions on it.
I mean, they did Witcher, right? And I always liked Witcher. That was a pretty fun game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I haven't played Cyberpunk. I heard really bad things about it.
Oh, it's not good.
But I feel like one bad thing. Mistakes happen, kind of thing.
Well, it's less about mistakes happen and more that they have just like. It's not
I think
we're.
they bite off more than they
not
can
like
chew.
we're saying, "Oh, they made one mistake, fuck them." It's more so Cyberpunk was the massive catalyst that started all of their mistakes. They've made so many.
Yeah, and then more has been revealed about
Yeah. Sorry, continue.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like since Cyberpunk came out, they've been talking more about their development cycle and like how they go about it. And The Witcher 3, like most of the game was developed in the last 6 months of development.
Oh wow!
So like they do heavily crunch their staff.
Yeah.
So like It's
the
just
revelations of crunch and their slightly poor working environments and stuff like that in regards to mental health. You've also got the fact that they released Cyberpunk. Like, there was a patch that came out recently that was 30 something gigs of, like, it was a ridiculous amount of information to update a game with.
Mm-hmm.
Like 30 something gigs worth
So that was the game.
That's what it wasn't the game though. It was them fixing the game.
Yeah, the game.
That's what's amazing about it. It's that they like 35 or something gigs. Like, that's the size of an entire game, and that's just what they're trying to fix.
Well, they were trying to make Cyberpunk like the first real AR game, right?
No, I don't think.
No.
What was the deal with Cyberpunk then? Like,
it's the game's not very unique. That's the thing.
Cyberpunk 2077 is based on the old Cyberpunk role-playing system, Cyberpunk 2020, which is really its only interesting thing. It has characters and stuff from that universe, but like, it's just such a hollow game.
Yeah, it's
like, I don't know what to say about it specifically in terms of.
It's just gameplay wise, it's really just Skyrim again.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's Skyrim. I feel like it's giving a little too much credit to Skyrim.
I thought the graphics were just supposed to be like out of this world, and
graphically speaking, it looks pretty good, and like, it looks nice, but it's just such a hollow experience.
It's more style than substance.
Like, I've seen people who like the game, even like playthroughs of it, like, oh yeah, sometimes it just crashes and you lose progress, or it has lots of bugs and issues.
I would say like the base design of the game, like the base mechanics and the level design, like it's just not even good to begin with. Like they didn't have a solid foundation, and they built more stuff around that, and it didn't, and the finished project wasn't even there wasn't a lot.
The weirdest thing I think about Cyberpunk is that there's not a lot of it that actually physically evokes Cyberpunk for me.
Exactly. Like
the Cyberpunk setting, it doesn't even like, where are my heavily armored street samurais, or chrome, like, where's all the chrome, god damn it. Like, it's kind of like, it has a Cyberpunk edge to it, I guess, but like, there's nothing much about it that really evokes Cyberpunk to me. It looks more postmodern, actually, thinking about it. Like an edgy postmodern setting instead of Cyberpunk. Like, that's what it reminds me of.
I think and this might just be, again, I don't know a ton about the game. I haven't played it or anything like that. But one of the biggest things that falls short, or falls flat rather, on sci-fi genre movies and games is that it does not hold up to time. So like, there's
it's not sci-fi, it's cyberpunk.
Well, it's
but it kind of is though.
No,
cyberpunk is a form of sci-fi.
So it's like, okay, so Cyberpunk 2020 is supposed to take place in 2020. It's 2021 now. How legitimate is that? There was 8
sure, but
7, right? Or 19, the book 1980, I think it's
1987. Yeah.
I mean, like,
the book 1984.
84.
Yeah. 84. Okay. I was like 1987. Are you talking about when a book was published?
No.
This is not a significant year.
No, but the point is, like, there's so many things that have a specific year when it comes to these kinds of genres, and then they don't hold up to the future. Like, we're supposed to have flying cars by now, according to the people in the 50s. We don't. So I feel like that might be where they're going. They in 70, actually 57 years rather, they're not going to necessarily.
That isn't really the point, though.
Well, I mean, yeah, no, but I do understand that perspective, though, and like, I kind of agree with that. Yeah,
but that isn't, like, that the thing about that is that isn't really the point
Why
because
change the name? Why not just call it Cyberpunk 2020? Didn't it come out in 2020?
it's
So-
Cyberpunk 2077 because it's set in the year 2077.
But why not set it in 2020? Alternate history 2020.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want to think of an original name.
Oh. Okay.
I mean, I get you can
I don't know.
use whatever excuse you want for that, but like my point is that it doesn't like Cyberpunk is basically like Cyberpunk is all about Cyberpunk was flourished in the 80s. And you can tell that the 80s version of the future is a lot of like Cyberpunk is very heavily based in like the 80s and this crazy over the top technology that's still like old because it was made in a time period that they didn't expect what technology could be like in the era. So you have stuff like Shadowrun or Cyberpunk, the role-playing system, where you have these guys that have like cybernetic enhancements and all these crazy stuff that obviously we still don't even have, but you know, like there's nothing inherently wrong with the date in of itself. It's just a wrong with how they went about creating the setting and what elements they chose to like, not even like the main sort of antagonist / person that's taking over your mind, Johnny Silverhand. Like, I don't like nothing about him sort of evokes, I don't know. It's just
nothing. I would say, Detroit Become Human. I feel like that's more of a futuristic cyberpunk-esque universe than the actual cyberpunk game.
Well, it's called Cyberpunk because it's literally like punk, as in punk, but it's cyberpunk.
Yeah.
So you have like the punk look. So you have people with like mohawks and shit, stuff like that. You have punk, but it's cyberpunk.
I think it's just
Would you consider Demolition Man a sci-fi movie?
Unfortunately, I have not seen Demolition Man.
Okay. Well, it's cyberpunk, but it's a sci-fi movie. So my point is that there's like a
sci-fi and cyberpunk. I think go hand in hand. I think.
Yeah, they're not mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
I would concur. They definitely have different aesthetics, though.
Well, you can call it science fiction. The term sci-fi is generally used by people who want to refer to space.
Sci-fi is just science fiction.
Yeah, I know, but my point is that most people, when they say sci-fi, think of like Star Trek
or Asimov. I think of Asimov.
Yeah.
I feel like iRobot is sci-fi. It's future. AI is basically running the world. So it's not.
Yeah, I suppose. Like, I don't know.
Ow.
I don't know. It's just. I don't know. Maybe they'll finally fix the game at some point.
Anyways, that
I don't know.
I don't know where we are anymore. Actually, I don't know where we are
Neither
in
do
topics. Point being, CD Projekt Red should probably just, I don't know, like not be idiots. I know that's a hard task sometimes, but anyways, moving on to our next bit of news, which is, I don't know, I don't know what's going on. I think I've lost my flow slightly, but next bit of news is that there was a PlayStation Vita project that was canceled in the wake of the shutdown confirmation of the PlayStation Vita's digital store, which is bigger, like, obviously the PS3, the PSP, and the PS Vita digital stores are all closing down forever in June. So get ready for that. And obviously all of the digital stuff that's you can only get there will never be able to be found again because that's how Sony rolls. What
is the reasoning behind this?
For Sony to shut down all its digital stores?
Yeah.
because they're assholes. No.
Yeah, they are. I've been wanting to play all of the classic games that I can't play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just as there's a lot of stuff on the PS3 store specifically that like makes it easier to get classic games, like PS1 and PS2 classics. Like you can get Digital Devil Saga 1, 2, Nocturne, Persona 3 and 4 on there for like $10 each. They're really cheap. I got lucky in my search for a Persona 4 copy, but generally speaking, those games are not going to be very cheap.
Right,
There's also like just certain ways of playing games that are also not to mention all of the digital DLC that was released for games. Don't even get me started on that.
Yeah, I mean, you can't play the old games on the new systems. So
their reason is they want to shut it down so they can make, in their own words, focus on making the PS4 and PS5 stores more something, whatever word they used in their official statement. What?
More exclusive?
Yeah, because that's the thing. It's like technically speaking, they're saving costs on this because obviously I get it would cost money to do this, but like just in terms of the fact that the fact that a development studio was still in the process of making a game for the Vita in the wake of its store closing is ridiculous, and just goes to show that people still were very much using these platforms.
Right.
But like, you know, it's
the whole console things. Like the more I learn about how the console markets and all of that mess works, like the console wars, everything, the more I start to be like, this could actually be used as a critique of capitalism. And then the more I think about it, I'm like, this actually doesn't really apply because it's video games, so it's a luxury market.
Yeah, video games are considered a luxury, but my God, do these studios do really dumb stuff sometimes.
Yeah, if like food markets did this, oh boy. If there was like an exclusive thing, you could only buy oranges at Schnucks.
Yeah, but like a lot of people kind of forget that the Vitas, like the PSP and the PS Vita, were like really damn good pieces of technology. Like they were very, very good. And before the Switch came out, I'd argue that the Vita was probably one of the best handhelds ever created.
Yeah, definitely. It just didn't get a whole lot of support.
Yeah, because Sony abandoned it like a sack of potatoes on the side of the road.
Yeah.
Like they abandoned the PS Vita so quickly after it didn't attain the success they wanted.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, because I was gonna say it's like they were competing for basically a monopoly because Nintendo has had a monopoly on the handheld market for decades. But like a lot of people really liked the Vita when it came out, and a lot of the reason it failed so hard was because there were no games released for it.
Yeah.
Like you had a lot of really good titles and digital RPGs and like 2D stuff on it as well, but like no highbrow games were ever fully released for it. So it didn't get the marketing and player base it really needed to thrive. But it's still it's a damn good piece of technology. It's completely solid.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah, what I was going to say is like whatever, like the bad PR and Sony is getting from this move is outweighing whatever amount of money it cost them to uphold these servers. Like,
my issue with it, my biggest issue with it is that, okay, so when I think it was the PS3 came out, you could play PS2 games on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. Oh, that's the other thing. Sorry to interrupt you, but Sony just doesn't give a shit about backwards compatibility anymore.
So now that you can't have the backwards compatibility, like the benefit of having these older games, people want to play these older games, you know, so they're kind of really screwing themselves on that.
Yeah, but it's like because like there are exclusives to the PlayStation Store that you're never going to get anywhere else.
Right.
And they're going to be gone forever.
Yeah.
Especially in this day and age with everyone at home playing games constantly, people upped their subscriptions.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
People who didn't have subscriptions probably got them because they were sick of playing the same games over and over again.
Hey.
Hello.
Hi.
No.
Wow.
How's San Francisco?
I don't know. It's really weird to pop in and out of.
What is going on? Yes.
I'm
But
saying
yeah,
hi.
the game in question made by Twin Breaker Studio Limo Games is banned in plans to release project because of Sony. So there's a port of a game is getting canceled for the Vita because obviously the stores are shutting down. So it would be financially a bad move if they actually went ahead with releasing it.
Mm-hmm.
Especially since they aren't even like super ready for it to be a release yet.
Yeah, and then in the same article, another studio their game's only going to be up for 128 days before you can't get it anymore.
Yeah, because it's anyways, like one of the what's my other piece of news on here? Right. Oh, right. I forgot about this. So yeah, the biggest Sony has been rolling down a hill for the past year and a half. They haven't been necessarily failing, but they have been getting worse and worse from my perspective. At least even if Xbox is not worth praising to a degree, but at least they kind of care about their legacy. Sony doesn't care about their legacy at all. To the point that they're just ready to get rid of an entire storefront that has stuff on it that nobody will ever be able to play again.
Yeah, they're always trying to look. They're focusing a lot on what's gonna happen next.
Yeah, not to mention that's PS4 and PS5 digital stores are also a whole nother bag. That's I don't even know what is happening with those. But also this sort of sets a precedent because what happens when they start wanting to abandon the PS4? Are they just gonna discontinue everything for it too, like they are with the PS3? This sets a dangerous precedent for the future.
Yeah.
Maybe people will be scared enough that they don't invest in PS4 games.
That's what they're doing is making it so people are forced to buy the newest console.
Right.
That's really what they're doing.
It's also that
they're making power creep a thing in video game consoles.
This has been an issue for over 10 years.
Yeah, wow. Well, it's the same thing with cell phones. They change your charger port, so you have to get new chargers, and they change certain things, so you have to get that newest one. They make it the iPhone 9 isn't compatible with the current networks, and then you have to do an upgrade. And then it's what's that? But so and video games are doing that too.
Yeah, it's been a whole problem for the past 10 years. Not even mentioning the fact that the only people that really push and care about the power of these consoles are it's weird when you think about it, but console wars really the console wars is basically a dead thing at this point. There's very few people that actually care anymore. But in terms of consoles being powerful or graphically speaking, the people that push for high graphics or better having better and more powerful consoles is nice, but it's not the most important thing, which is what a lot of these companies at this point seem to be just caring about the most, which is kind of why Nintendo even just does whatever it wants to do. The Nintendo Switch is not the most powerful console of this generation, but it's definitely the most successful.
Tearing to little pieces. Be a mess.
Anyways, yes, on top of the Vita situation, there's another small article that sort of ties into this a little bit, which is there was an exodus of developers. A bunch of developers leave Sony after they restructure whatever their thing is. So you have like developers that have been with the company for like over 20 years leaving, stuff like executive producers and stuff for like big games like Demon Souls, Gravity Rush, Bloodborne, stuff like that, who are just leaving the company after they have restructured, after some restructuring. So I don't know what that says about. I don't know what that says about the current state of Sony, but I think that kind of gives you. I think that kind of says something.
Yeah, that's a.
Maybe they're gonna start their own company.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe they have a really good reputation. Like they did Demon Souls, Gravity Rush, and Bloodborne. Like,
well, developers behind those titles.
The developers. Yeah, like.
So and also like it doesn't say anything on what the future of these franchises are, or if the rights to these franchises will be continued to be held by Sony because they were exclusive to the platform. It also says that the restructuring had like the development team behind Astro's Playroom is like where they're putting most of their development focus for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like so Astro's Playroom, the development studio / team will be like where they're putting most of their resources into after the restructuring. Don't know why, but that's just what they're doing.
Yeah, that seems a bit strange.
Yeah, especially since Astro's Playroom was like just basically trying to show off the PS5.
And yeah.
I don't know what's up with that, but that sort of ties back into the PlayStation Vita thing, because it's both about Sony doing very strange things that just leave them with less good PR than they should probably want to have.
Well,
yeah, the other thing about this is like Sony is definitely to blame for this, but it also I had a big rant about this last week and I can't develop the same amount of energy I had for some reason. I think I think it's just late in the day and I just kind of lost a bit of my energy. But another big problem about this is that a lot of people don't really realize that the gaming community as a whole is kind of to blame for this as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're the ones, not me specifically, but like obviously not the whole gaming community, but like the ones that usually speak the loudest. These are the guys that push for new things. Like people don't really realize, but we're kind of to blame because we're the ones that seemingly don't care about our own past as well. So, developers are going to usually listen to the loudest people, not necessarily the biggest crowd, which is just how the modern sphere works for some reason. Even if they are the smallest portion of a fan base, if they're the loudest, they'll generally get attention.
Yeah.
But there's this, like, I mentioned this last week, but like you can go to any comment section of like the Skyward Sword remaster rather. It's not a remake, it's a remaster. And just like see tons and tons of people just complaining that it wasn't like two other games that were already remastered for another console. It's like, oh, we want to remaster of a remaster because we want it on this new console. We don't want to have it on the other. We don't want to go back and play it on the old consoles. So you have these people who are up for forcing the bar forward instead of trying to maintain what we have.
Right.
Which is, they're also to massively blame for this. And they have no idea about it. They literally can't even see past their own hubris. Yeah, I had it like, I'm kind of retreading ground that I tread last week because I had a big rant about it. But it's just a thing. Xbox deserves a minutia, a small amount of praise compared to Sony, because at least they kind of care about their legacy comparatively. But we should not accept the things these companies give us. We should ask for more instead of accepting what they give us. Because if we do that, we'll slowly end up worse than where we are, which is already worse because back in the day we accepted what they gave us instead of asking for more. Anyways, just Max, Devin, Matthew, you haven't talked in like a good 10 minutes. What's up with you?
I don't know. I don't really have much to say.
Yeah, you would have had much to say last week if you'd heard me fucking go off.
It's sad, but I am one of those gamers that is also I'm one of those people who is also to blame, sort of, in the sense that I just don't care to play these games, and so I don't have a stake in it, and so I might.
Well, you're a different. You don't have a like. If you had a stake in this conversation, you would care, but you don't.
Yeah,
that's
if I had a stake, then I would care, but I do not, because I do not.
But it's also like, from a financial standpoint, it also is concerning because it's like we put so much money into these things and they're just disappearing.
I mean, from a business perspective, it's like it's just like financially, it's
the most anti-consumer move they possibly could have made. But yes,
but no, like
from a
financially,
business perspective,
like
yes,
just,
I suppose.
It doesn't make the returns for how much they put in. So because there are development studios that have just been running on the Vita, and but it's mainly in Japan, and when you compare it to like how much there is throughout the world, and seeing the investment that they're making, and how it is compared to the PS4 and PS5, I guess they kind of feel like they might as well just take that loss and then move
but
better things. But
I guess
it is very unfortunate still.
I guess the hope is that they might. I think that's the main thing. The bottom is like they're getting rid of a way to play these games. Period. Like they haven't said anything about moving them to the store, which highly doubt they'll do, because
highly doubt it.
That's just highly doubt they'll do that. And it also just kind of, what was I going to say? Like backwards compatibility used to be like the main like big selling point to like a lot of things back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Like backwards compatibility became like a big thing once Sony entered the ring, because they allowed you to play PS1 games on the PS2 when it came out. Like that was a big thing. Xbox followed in their footsteps by allowing you to play Xbox games on the 360, and even the original PS3s allowed you to play PS2 games on them before. But like, I mean, the Wii allows you to play GameCube games. I just don't get why it's so difficult for them to actually do this.
Well, the thing is that like the PS3, I believe it was the processor that they used for the PS3 that made it hard to develop for. And so because they wanted it to be backwards compatible with the PS2, but because of that, the PS4 cannot be backwards compatible with the PS3.
Yeah, but like there's plenty of emulation of PS3 games at this point. Surely a company the size of Africa can do it.
They probably could.
That's a measuring stick, but fuck it.
They probably could, but like, money.
They're losing more money on this stake than they are gaining it.
I don't know.
It's not even disheartening. It's just a bad look for them at this point, because this will be the point to shift over to Xbox. This is the point in history where people will go, you know what, Sony? Fuck you. And they go over to Xbox because at least they have something compared to nothing. Not to mention all the issues of the PS5, because Christ, that thing is a fucking, I don't even know how to describe it. Just I don't know.
It's a bit of a mess.
Yeah, it's a sailing ship with a few holes in it, I guess.
Yeah, same with Xbox in that sense too. But I mean,
I mean,
More people are more focused on the PS5.
I get at least Xbox cares about their brand.
And this is why Nintendo is still the best, because they didn't have to get involved in all the petty squabbling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, except for the fact that they had made a public execution of Mario about 3 days ago.
They did?
What?
Yeah, they killed Mario. Haven't you heard?
I heard
they killed Mario by making sure nobody could officially buy the Mario 3D All Stars anymore. They took it off the digital stores. They took it off of store shelves.
That's not the same.
Gone forever. What?
That's not the same thing as killing Mario.
That's the thing people have been calling it, so I'm going with it. They killed Mario. They held a public execution for Mario.
If that's the worst thing Nintendo can do, I'm quite happy.
No, that's still a really shitty thing to do because they're just.
But
Mario is what made Nintendo.
It's not one game. It's three games, three separate consoles on one thing.
Wasn't that the thing that they said was going to be limited anyway?
Yeah, they said it was going to be limited, but there wasn't really much of a reason to make it limited other than
there wasn't a reason to make it limited.
Yeah,
aside from jacking up the sales.
They still said that it was limited. Is my thing.
Okay.
Why is it limited though? Give me one.
No, here's the thing. Matthew.
Exactly.
No, Matthew. Listen, they didn't make like a limited amount of copies. They kept printing those.
So I got a quick explanation for
why.
It
wasn't if they had a limited amount of copies, they would have been pre-order only.
Okay, I know why.
They were still printing them. They were still on shelves until a few days ago when they just took it all off.
Here's why it's limited.
Okay,
ready?
that's a weird decision.
Ready? Here's why it's limited. Either there was some secret. So here's the two and only explanations. One, there is actually a secret cult or conspiracy controlling everything, and there was messaging in there that exposed that cult or conspiracy or whatever for what it truly is.
Mm-hmm.
The other option, this is the slightly less likely option, is that they wanted to make the play experience more valuable to the people who had already got the game because they feel like they are playing a rare commodity that less people have played.
It's money, by the way. The answer is money.
Yeah,
just saying. The answer is money.
I think the
money.
I think the biggest theory I heard was that like it was something about like taxes, where like they would get a
better this is the other thing. They were trying that basically when that sort of went off shelves, it was basically the end of their fiscal year. So they were basically, if you want to believe this, they were basically trying to increase the amount of money as much as possible at the end of their fiscal year.
Okay.
By the by, it worked because the amount of people that bought that game jacked up massively.
Mm-hmm.
So, they got a bunch of money at the end of their fiscal year. Hooray for them. Whatever.
Well, on the plus side, people have games that they want to play, and if someone else wants to play it, they can play that other person's game by borrowing it or
during
except
COVID.
For the people who bought it digitally. Which a lot of people did.
Is it going away from the digital?
Yes, it is gone from the digital store.
But can they still play it if they bought it digitally?
Yeah, but it's gone from the digital store. You cannot buy this game officially anymore.
I know, but if you already bought it from the digital store, then why is it a problem?
Because now you can't buy it if you missed your chance.
No, but you can't buy a physical copy.
Yeah, you can't buy a physical copy and you cannot buy a digital copy. So if you didn't buy it, now you can't buy it at all.
So
another good reason to stick to physical copies.
Just haven't bought it. I already answered that. But people who haven't bought it, they can just find someone who has bought it and then either borrow it or buy it from them. Or
during COVID.
Or copy it from them. Or go to pirate.
No.
Just pirate it. It's much easier and they don't give a shit.
Don't pirate, kids. Don't pirate.
Listen, they're not going to get any profit from the game anymore.
GTD.
Pirating it is the same as doing any of the other options you've listed.
Stabbing people? That's probably a bad idea.
What?
I didn't list that. I was just thinking that. I was thinking like steal it or stab them. I was like stabbing them doesn't really get you the game from them, so I didn't mention.
Yeah,
that.
I feel like
anymore.
Committing assault is a little different.
A little bit different. Maybe on the people who So you couldn't
Scalpers are gonna buy up whatever copies they can and jack the price up massively because that's what they do. That's what they do.
And thus the game is more valuable. If it's more
Yeah,
expensive.
because Nintendo in what's the term? Forced scarcity. There's a specific term for it. But like they're forced scarcity.
Most of the fresh water supply in the world, so that the little bit that I have will be more valuable.
You do realize that you're basically describing Goldfinger's plan in Goldfinger, right?
Oh, okay.
He wanted to blow up the world gold reserve, Fort Knox, with a nuke, so his gold would be more valuable.
Oh,
that's what he wanted to do. That was his plan. He broke into Fort Knox and was going to blow it up with a nuclear device, so all of the gold in there would be useless for however long the half-life of nuclear radiation. So his gold would be more powerful, or not powerful, valuable. That's his plan in the film.
You're muted.
Okay, anyways. It doesn't matter. There's nothing I can personally do about it. The best thing we can do about it is rant and rave at these companies until they listen to our demands. Which is, hard to do sometimes. I'm not officially giving anybody... Also, here's the thing. If you want to boycott something, I'm just going to put this down now. Don't send hate to any individual person. These companies have Twitter accounts and stuff like that. Don't send hate to them specifically. I'm ranting, so I'm not exactly in that bandwagon. I'm not sending hate to anybody. I'm just ranting about a subject. The best way to handle situations like these is to not make yourself out like a deranged weirdo. Because if you send hate to them, they're not going to listen to you. Like, hate is not the option. You need to handle these situations like adults. Boycott them if you wish, or do whatever little thing you can to help the situation. Petitions never work.
No, well, they could work.
Anyways,
I don't think. Or Bethesda, Sony, which company is this?
We were talking about a funny question to ask. That's a funny question. Which company is doing the bad things? I don't know. They're all doing bad things. It's hard to tell anymore.
Which company is doing the worst bad thing?
Activision.
That's debatable.
Okay, so which company is doing the best bad thing, or the least bad thing?
Nintendo, I guess.
Okay, so we give Nintendo cupcakes and we send coal to Activision.
Don't listen. All I'm saying that the reason this is happening is because higher ups in the company, not an individual person. Mm-hmm. It's hard to sometimes separate individuals from companies, and we sort of almost sort of give personalities to these companies because we reference them as one entity overall. But like, direct your hatred at specific. Don't direct your hatred at anybody. It's not okay to hate anybody in particular, but at least in the modern world. I don't know what I'm fucking talking about anymore. All I'm trying to say is that do what you can with what you have. Do not berate anybody in particular. That's all I was trying to say.
Good.
But also send them coal anyway.
If you want to mail coal to the P.O. box of a particular company, I guess you can.
Might be more effective than...
No. Mail it to every single person who works at the company.
What if you mail sticks of coal?
All right.
No, just stop.
No, I'm gonna put an end to this now. That's the news.
Yay, news.
Okay, I have one thing, a quick little mini game before the next part.
What?
Wait, this is the end of the show.
I know, but I want to ask you guys some quick questions before the end of the show.
Does this have anything to do with the show?
Yes. What is the first game you think of when you hear the word Max? Max, directed at you. What is the first game you think of when you hear the word mystery?
For some reason, it was like Telltale: The Walking Dead. For some reason.
Hmm.
I guess because it's point and click technically.
Why are you doing this?
Aaron, what is the first game you think? Because I thought it was a cool idea. What is the
All right,
first
then.
thing you think of when you hear the word?
I think
Some
of
head-
Rugrats: The Search for Reptar.
I was gonna say rock band. I was gonna say rock band because of the screamos.
When you hear the word action.
Action.
Yes.
I guess. I don't know.
Okay, you've spent quite a while having
Okay,
your first thought on it.
Say it to me again, and I'll try to pick the first thing that comes to mind.
Okay, ready? I'm going to change the word though. What is the first game that you think of when you hear the word comforting?
I guess Spyro. It's personally comforting.
For me, I thought Breath of the Wild.
Ah, I can see that.
Spyro 3 is my personal comfort game because I explained why I went to it. It's my comfort food of gaming.
Yeah.
Literally nothing came to mind for me.
That's because Matthew doesn't play video games. Matthew, what's the first game that comes to your head when you heard the word build?
What do you think? Also the Lego logo.
Wonderful.
What is the first game that comes to mind? You ready?
Uh-huh.
When you hear the word scary.
The first thing?
Yes. The first.
Even though I haven't played it yet, I just heard about it. Little Nightmares.
Yes. Wonderful.
I don't know enough about it.
I train you well.
Max
All right,
knows
so
exactly why it's been on my mind.
Is that it for you, Devin?
Yeah, that's it. I just thought.
Wait, Devin.
I think.
What game do you think of when you hear
Promiscuous.
Dresden Files. Takes me a little bit
right.
That fits into that category.
All right then.
How about mobile?
Oh yeah, any mobile game.
What's the first thing we each think of when we hear mobile?
Shit.
The end of the show. No.
Yes.
I
What's the
think
first thing you talk
Jackson
about? Thank you for listening to the GTD podcast. No, okay, let's get to the end of the show. I'm sure whatever audience we have has left at this point.
No, actually, they're probably laughing. They're probably laughing. We'll go with that.
Whatever. You know what?
I mean, that was
Okay,
funny.
welcome to the part of the show where we shamelessly self-promote ourselves because it's shameless self-promotion time. That was the end of the news. Hey guys, hey Macarena, fucking go insane over here. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah, Aaron, I think you
Shut
got
up,
insane.
tired Max.
Officially.
Okay, this is the part of the show where we shamelessly self-promote ourselves because it's shameless self-promotion, which is part of the end of the show. Soon enough, I'll have a decent segue into something. I don't know. Max,
No,
what have
you
you
don't
do?
need segues. Segues are useless.
Max,
You can find me on the
shameless self-promotion. What do you have coming up this week and where can people find you? That's what I was trying to say. Fuck me.
I don't have anything coming up, but you can find me at Dillian Kriker on YouTube, and then I'm also on Twitter at Dillian_Kriker.
Good to know. You
Speed running, huh?
idiot. Matthew, what do you have coming up this week and where can people find you?
I have a video that is not unique, but a specific thing, and it's Minecraft oriented, and it is going to be scheduled to upload Thursday, and it's not going to take very long to edit, so it'll be done.
Wonderful.
All right.
It's really
Devin.
just a bunch of sounds. That's the only tidbit into it you'll hear.
Did you say where everybody can find you?
Oh yes, you can find me in Mystical Meanderings on technically Twitter and Twitch, and you can also find me on YouTube. YouTube's beginning to be a thing, and Twitch is comparatively a thing to YouTube by a lot, actually.
All right. Devin.
In my opinion.
Devin.
Yo.
Devin.
Yeah, I'm fine.
What do you what do you have coming up this week and where can people find you?
Well, I just uploaded an episode of Sabre on the So I've Been Reading an Encyclopedia channel. And I will be uploading another one probably within 2 weeks. Just fine. I mean, I should be paying a little bit more attention. And I have several videos for the Blingdon channel that I have in stasis, including that story from the beginning of the episode about that game that I played. I recorded a good chunk of the game, and I want to edit it down. But I have some other things to do first for Blingdon, and Blingdon has a lot of there's just a lot of videos that I'm halfway editing that I forgot about and I can't find. So
Wonderful.
I see.
my life basically.
Right.
Yeah. And then I will be having a book out on Amazon in the next couple of months, probably.
Ooh.
Oh, really?
It won't be very long though. It'll only be like 30,000, 20,000 words, but it'll be a book. So
Nice.
Self-publish.
yeah.
Yeah. All right
That's
then.
Exciting.
Where can people find you? Did you say?
You can't. I don't exist.
Oh, good
Wonderful.
to know. I shall stop inviting you to this podcast since you don't exist.
Okay, but now I exist again.
I can replace him.
Ah, damn.
So I will be. I can be found at. So I've been reading an encyclopedia on YouTube, and Blingdon on YouTube, which is just the word bling and then the word din, like DIN.
DIN.
Yeah. And you can find me on Dev Mafia Gaming or on Deliot Z, which is going to get a better name because that's kind of confusing for people.
Mm-hmm.
Or on Rocket Jump Monster, or not Rocket Jump Monster, Rocket Monster. I think it's called Rocket Monster. It doesn't have any videos though.
Okay.
Why do you have another channel?
Oh, that one's like 4 years old. I was gonna make special effect videos, but I realized I didn't actually have the ability to do that at the time, so I just abandoned the channel.
Right.
The entire password and everything is written up on my wall somewhere, so I still have it.
Wonderful.
Great. And you can't be found on Twitter.
Nope, I do not exist on Twitter or on any other social media platform.
Yeah, it's great. I know. It's
Reddit. I exist on Reddit as Oko the Elusive Oof.
Me. All right. So that's it for you,
That
Devin?
is-
All right. Moving on to myself then. I will continue to be the main host of these podcasts and continue to upload them every Sunday, or continue the weekly whatever of this podcast. Hopefully, unless something comes up, I'll try and keep getting these episodes out. Other than that, I have a couple like random videos in the works that I've been sort of thinking about, but I have a very special video that I'm sort of writing a script for that will come out when it comes out. I don't have a destination, or I don't have a date for you, but it will be out, and it'll probably be the first video other than these podcasts that will appear on this channel. So get ready, I guess, for that if you feel inclined to do so. I'm also what
topic-ish. You don't want to explain what it is, or
it's
surprise.
It's a talkie video. I talk about. I don't have it fully planned out yet, but I'm writing a bit of a script for it, but I don't have I'm gonna split up into like segments, so it's just gonna be this whole thing. But I'm just gonna be basically talking just as like the preview. I'm gonna be talking about the gaming community and certain aspects of it, as well as my general taste for some of it.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Yes, you can also find me / the channel on Twitter at gaming, the discussion, where I'll post when the videos go out and when news articles and other random stuff that I find interesting. I'm not on it very often, but it's there if you want to watch it. Watch it? Yeah, sure. Watch Twitter. That's what you do. Anyways, that's the end of shameless self-promotion. So we can get on to the next segment, which is called the end of the show. I hope you enjoy it. The end of the show is usually the best part, to be perfectly honest. So thank you Thank you all so much for watching the GTD podcast episode, whatever it is, 17 probably. Like, comment, subscribe, all that beautiful stuff. You can check out what we talked about and looked at in the description or pinned comment below. You can also just check out these guys' channels, which they already shilled for, so I don't really need to tell you that, but do it anyways.
Max Shell?
Do it anyway.
I already did.
You did? Okay, cool. I must have
Do
missed
it.
I just talk very fast.
He talks very fast because his fast grass is sleepy.
He's prepared. That's really why.
I was prepared.
Yes.
Twice.
Can I get... yes, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you. I've said that I really need to get better at doing endings, but can I just get some goodbyes from the rest of you?
Goodbye.
Also, yes.
I would be very happy to join in for some other snarky comments if you ever decide to do that in the future.
You know what? Before we end off the podcast, maybe you'll see the mysterious guest in a future episode and you'll find out her identity. For now, she is mysterious and you shan't know.
Yeah.
But other than that, the suspense is killing whatever audience I have. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.
Yay.
That's a good